Hello and welcome to another Murders at Karlov Manor draft. We have hit Mythic. We did some offline drafting and I was like, look, before the next video, I need to hit Mythic. So we did. We are now Mythic number 82. And right now, I don't think there's a huge pool of players that are sitting at Mythic. So if we do well, I do believe that we'll be able to climb the ranks pretty quickly. So looking forward to that. Before I start, I did want to say, if you wanted to support this channel in other ways, I did launch my Patreon channel about a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to all the current patrons. The link is in the description below to see all the different benefits you can get by being a part of my Patreon. All right, something nice, something great. Let's see what happens. Let's climb some ranks. Okay, what do we have here? Oh, that is a War Leader's Call. That is a War Leader's Call. This is an incredible, glorious Anthem effect. And I think that's going to be what we take out of this pack. I mean, we were just Boros, but I mean, this card is really awesome. As far as other cards go, for commons, I Bite Down on Crime, Person of Interest, and Market Watch Phantom are all cards that I'm looking at. I think I'd really look probably between Person of Interest and Bite Down on Crime. And that's more of a feel thing. I think they're both very good. Given that we drafted Boros yesterday, I might just take the Bite Down on Crime here, if it wasn't for the fact that we opened War Leader's Call. But War Leader's Call is sweet. It's a rare. And ideally, you want to be Boros or red-white to make this work. But I've definitely played it before in kind of a green-red or green-white shell, splashing the other color to get this effect, because this is a very powerful enchantment. All right, moving on to this pack, we have... Wow, that's a pretty weak pack. All the good cards seem to be blue and white. There's no good red or white or even green card that I'm really considering out of this pack. Corner Crook, I think, has some applications if you're a blue-red deck specifically, but generally I don't like it very much. There is a Private Eye and there is a Granite Witness. So a Private Eye being passed could be a sign that the Detectives deck is open, but I could also take the Granite Witness because this is still good in a white deck. And that means this is a pick that I can put in my deck that I'll be happy with, where I won't have to necessarily abandon my War Leader's Call. But if I do end up in blue-white, this card is premium. You know, I'm going to just take the Private Eye. Look, I think the safe pick there is definitely to take the Granite Witness, but I haven't drafted Detectives in a while, and Private Eye is so good if you end up in Detectives. And here, I actually do think I prefer Market Watch Phantom over Mentor of the Meek. This card has been, you know, I thought I wanted this card to be awesome. The thing is, you can't really block or attack with this card when it's in play, and I've been really underwhelmed by it, and mostly because of the speed of the format. So I think I'm going to take Market Watch Phantom, which is a welcome addition in my deck if I'm both blue-white or red-white. It is a detective. Noting that there's a repulsive mutation in that, oh my gosh, what is... Now there's another repulsive mutation with an Evidence Examiner. There's another mutation with an Evidence Examiner. I took the Market Watch Phantom because I didn't want to start out my draft with War Leaders called Private Eye into Repulsive Mutation, right? I just thought, okay, that's just pushing my mana base probably a little bit too far. But now, there's nothing on the level of Market Watch Phantom. There's no great Boros card. I mean, there's Auspicious Arrival and On the Job, but when I see a second copy of this card, I'm just going to, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take it. And let's work together to figure out where this deck needs to be. Okay? Let's work together and figure out where this deck needs to be. Well, I have lots of different colors now. Do I want to take Seasoned Consultant or do I want to take Gravestone Strider? Now, if I want it to be blue-white specific, you know, I'm going to still start with the Seasoned Consultant because I feel like Gravestone Strider is a card you can get later. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this still gives me outs to being the blue-white Detectives deck. And as it's a detective, I think it's just a higher upside play here. And now I'm going to take Burden of Proof because, again, if I'm playing Detectives, I think this card is decent. And there's really nothing else in this pack to consider. So let's go ahead and take a Burden of Proof here as a decent combat trick. And note that we did see a bunch of repulsive mutations and Evidence Examiner, but we haven't seen a lot of green otherwise. So I wonder if that means that if the person passing to us is like green-red or green-white or something along those lines. All right. This is definitely a tricky draft to navigate. I'm going to take I guess a Sanguine Savior just as a face-down creature that I can flip up for double white. It's got evasion. I think with 2/2-drops already, I'm not as in big of a rush to pick up a decent 2, so I'll just pass the Sanitation Automaton for now. And now I'm going to take Escape Tunnel because it looks like we're probably going to be splashing here over the Case File Auditor. Case File Auditor is pretty interesting, though, because we do have Burden of Proof and War Leader's Call to go find. And now we have the choice between Culvert Ambushers and Vengeful Creeper. I'll take Vengeful Creeper. I think it's just a better creature in general. And wow, this deck is all over the place. I don't know that blue is open, but I don't know that red-white. I haven't seen a single red card. So what is the person passing to us in? Red-green? I'm not sure. But this is a very, very odd draft. I'm not really sure which direction I need to be going here. Let's see if we can go the multicolored green deck if possible. But man, this deck is definitely all over the place. Are we green-white? Are we blue-white? Are we... Okay, well, I guess we're red-white. Or I guess we're white splashing red. This is one of the best rares in the set. This pack is absolutely absurd. There's an Agris and a Vanifar. So 2 of the best rares in the set in this pack. There's an Extracted Confession. Novice Inspector obviously is great, but Agris is phenomenal. And of course, there is still the possibility that we are maybe blue-white splash red or green-white splash red, anything along those lines. But let's just go ahead and take the Agris. Like I said before, it didn't seem like red was super open, but maybe we can draft in a way where we can still try to splash this card if possible. So this is a very tricky territory that we're navigating here, just because there's a lot of different directions that we could be going, and we're going to be a little bit light on playables because we did the very thing that you shouldn't be doing, which is waffling. But let's take the Market Watch Phantom here out of this pack over Offender at Large and Case of the Crimson Pulse. I don't mind Case of the Crimson Pulse, but... like I said, in pack 1, I'm not sure how open red was, and I do just love Market Watch Phantom. I can't get enough of these in my red-white decks in general, or my white aggressive decks in general, so I'm just going to take it here. That's an ill-timed explosion, which is not very good in the Market Watch Phantom proactive deck. It is a very, very good card. That's Repulsive Mutation number 75 that we're passing, along with Nervous Gardener, Shock. I mean, this pack is really, really great. But I'm going to take Torch the Witness here. Torch the Witness is a premium removal spell. And now it looks like we're kind of heading into the red-white path, despite not getting any red in pack 1. But this is going to make pack 3 kind of rough. But I think I'm just going to take Galvanize here. I mean, Crowd Control Warden is also decent, but I think this deck just wants to be red-white if possible. And we did a lot of going back and forth. But let's just go back. Let's just solidify ourselves into red-white and know that we're probably going to have to play a few filler face-down cards. Now we have a pack with Buried in the Garden, which is definitely very good, but I don't want to, generally, I don't want to splash in my red-white decks if I don't have to. So I'm going to just take Red Herring here over Buried in the Garden. The only green card we saw in the first pack was Vengeful Creeper. I feel like the person passing to us likely is in red-green, but I'm going to take the Red Herring here just to have another solid 2-drop, curve people out, over the Buried in the Garden there, because my red-white, if you're red-white, you really would rather not splash. You really would rather, like, even with the Escape Tunnel in a forest, like, I would want one more green source. And what does that mean? Like, I have to play another Escape Tunnel, and that's not really something that I want to do, like I said, in kind of your red-white curve decks. Really happy with Person of Interest here in this pack. I think some people are going to point to Connect the Dots as a potential option. I think this card can see play. I am not the biggest fan of it, though. Playing this on turn 2 or whatever, or turn 4, taking the turn off to play an enchantment instead of a creature is a pretty big cost in your red-white decks. It's also taking up a spell slot, which really wants to be either a removal spell or a combat trick. And so using up a slot for that is not something that I really love. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I do like Felonious Rage, but I think I'm just going to take Riftburst Hellion here. We have a good number of spells, and I do want to make sure that I have just enough creatures in general in this deck. I think we can pick up some number of red and white spells to go in this deck, but as far as creatures go, I just need to make sure I have enough so that the War Leader's Call can in fact be good. And like I said, because we're fighting for people in pack 2 or pack 3, for those cards. I think I just want to make sure I have a creature in my deck. Now I can take the trick in the Chases On. I'm not a big fan of Shady Informant, just in general, in any deck. Not a huge fan of Hustle and Bustle either. It's a, like, if you really need a go wide type spell, you can play it. But we don't have a ton of token generation here either. So I'm just going to take the Chases On. Always like to have at least kind of one copy of that card in my decks. And we did pick up a Felonious Rage. So yeah, that's a decent combat trick. And there's a Hustle and Bustle anyway. So a lot of, nobody really wants to play that many Hustle Bustles. And oh my gosh, we literally opened 3 Boros rares. And this is, once again, a Cryptic Coat. And once again, we're passing the Cryptic Coat. This pack is insane. Can I just keep the whole pack? There's a War Leader's Call, a Makeshift Binding, Case of the Burning Masks, and a Dog Walker. Wow. Wow. Okay, so we don't need another go wide spell with 2 Glorious Anthems in our deck. So that's not something I'm going to be interested in. We are passing Cryptic Coat. Feels bad, but hey, look, we have double War Leader's Call, and we just got past Wojek Investigator. Okay, so that means the person passing to us is not, in fact, in white, which is great. There's a Karlov, Watchdog, Lightning Helix, and Dogwalker in the pack. And Dogwalker is ridiculous. Dogwalker, Person of Interest, and Inside Source are really the creatures we're looking for because we have 2 War Leaders Calls. We really want to go wide, but you simply can't pass Wojek Investigator. This card in an aggressive deck, if you're on the play, I mean, this thing's, you have 1-drops. This thing's just going to draw you a card almost every turn if they don't kill it. So I'm going to take the Investigator here. But yeah, let's just keep taking creatures in every single pack. Here, I'll take a Haas the Vigilante over Sanitation Automaton. I do love having at least one copy of this in my red-white decks, whereas the Automaton is kind of filler level. You can usually get enough 2s. So I'm gonna take a small risk there and take the Vigilante. We did take, what was it? The Private Eye over the Witness. I really wish I had Granite Witness, but very happy with Inside Source. That's a late Greenbelt Radical. That's another Connect the Dots. Granite Witness is okay, but Inside Source is perfect for this deck. And now we're going to take Crowd Control Warden out of this pack. This is just a great creature to flip up. I like it way more than Sanguine Savior and Riftburst Hellion. So if we actually have options to cut cards, I would definitely consider cutting the other 2 face-down creatures and play, like, these are the cards I'm actually happy with playing here, which is what, 21 minus 3. So 18 cards here would go into my deck that I'm pretty happy with. Really looking to mostly just take creatures from here on out. We have 2 removal spells, 3 combat tricks, and then a couple of War Leaders Calls. So just more creatures, the better. Dog Walkers, Inside Sources, and Persons of Interest are the ones that I'm really looking out for. Wouldn't mind a Fuss Bother. Don't expect to get that 6th pick. But of course, that is a nice go wide spell, along with the fact that generating 3 1/1 Thopters in a deck with double War Leaders Call is also very, very strong. I just hope I don't regret passing all of those 2s. We have a few more opportunities here at 2s, but we do need to pick some up. And we did not get one here. I'll take a... That is a late Private Eye, so blue-white was kind of open. I mean, maybe that specific color combination, but I'm going to put Defenestrated Phantom here on the right side as kind of... This is the group of filler... Here, I'll just remove them. They're like the filler face-down creatures I'd rather not play in my deck. I do like Museum Nightwatch, though, so I'm going to take that one. I'm happy with Museum Nightwatch in these types of decks. Happy flipping this up, making another creature. We're trying to go wide. Definitely want that over the second Haas the Vigilante. It's a late Case of the Shattered Pact, but Museum Nightwatch for us. And nothing here. We'll take another Riftburst Hellion. Do we have something cheap? Nothing here. All right. Griffknot Tracker, maybe? As a flyer? Okay, you know what? And this just happens every single time. This just happens every single time. And because white is so contested, and I have regrets. I definitely have regrets. What are those regrets, you say? Well, I regret passing maybe 1 or 2 of those Sanitation Automatons because right now we are really light on cheap interaction. I mean, I think our deck can still certainly win games, but we are light. Because the thing is, like, Haas the Vigilante is good, but I could still play Rubble Belt Braggart if I really need a 5. And now I just have a deck that doesn't quite have enough 2s that I'd like. Now, look, I can still just draw my 2s, and it would be fine. But I think at least we should have at least one more 2-drop in our deck. I think we should have at least one more 2-drop in our deck here. And we had that option, but we did not take it. Okay, so gotta cut 2 creatures here. Certainly not something that's cheap. All right, I think we can cut one of these face-down creatures. I think the Fenestrated Phantom is the worst of that. Can probably cut Griffknot Tracker. And I think this is the deck. Let us try. I mean, I can also play one more creature. I can play one more creature just because I have all these anthems over a trick, maybe. Because we have a lot of spells that just want us to have creatures in play. Right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the Galvanize and Torch the Witness. So maybe I can cut like either the Chases On or Felonious Rage. Now the Felonious Rage is cool because it just makes another creature, like another body. So maybe it's just the Chases On. I do like the Chases On in general, but what do I want to cut? Or what do I want to play? Yeah, I'll just play another random face down card. I think I want to play 16 creatures there instead of 15 because of the double anthems. And I do think I like the Phantom over the Tracker just because, look, 3 mana, 2/2 Ward 2. Tracker is just such an underwhelming body. Like, if you're on the play, it's okay. But, I mean, it is better with the anthems, but so is any creature with the anthems, so that's not the best argument either. But, you know, saying that you get a 4 mana, 4/3 flyer, you go turn 3 anthem into 4 mana, 4/3 flyer, is something. That was a really weird draft. Like, we weren't really supposed to be red-white, but we just opened 3 ridiculous Boros rares in a row. So it's almost like Arena was like, hey, who cares about signals? I don't care about signals if you don't, Paul. Right? If you don't care about signals, I don't care about signals. I'm just going to keep feeding you Boros rares and, you know, just don't even worry about drafting well. Now, we did do some waffling, and we ended up with not quite enough playables, but I think this deck will still be okay. All right, would really like to draw a white source here. We did an even 8-8 split with the Escape Tunnel. The Phantom does allow us to play another face-down card, but if we draw a white source, what can we do? I mean, I guess if they block with the face-down card, we can still just turn this face up. We have the option to cast Auspicious Arrival and draw a card. We can Torch, but it's not very good. All right, no blocks from them. Another face-down card that I can't flip up anytime soon. So not ideal here, not ideal. I just felt like keeping a hand with Red Herring, face-down card, and Torch will be good enough, but really wanted to find at least 1 land. All right, we might be getting out-colded here. Eliminate the... We could be getting eliminated. On the job. Okay. That's fine. I mean, look, we didn't draw a white source. I mean, we have to attack. My Red Herring had to attack anyways, and this is simply just a game where if you don't draw the lands that you need, you're just going to lose. And it's all good. Happens to everybody. Here's another face-down card with double white. So it's telling me that it's either Granite Well, they were very careful in how they tap this mana. So this tells me that it's very likely to be Dogwalker. And we fail to draw another land. Here I'm going to Felonious Rage. It's a Dogwalker. We're trying our best, but I just I'm not able to play proper Magic here. I'm going to just kill a dog here just to make a clue to draw a card. Keep their board small. It's not ideal, but like I hate being stuck on 3 lands. So like if I don't draw a land next turn, I'm going to crack this clue just to try to find a white source. Okay. Oh. It happens to everybody, Paul. It's okay. It happens to everybody. Yesterday, we lost the first round and rattled off a bunch of wins in a row. Wow. Okay. Are they biting down? Is that what's happening? No. Why did they just flip? They just wanted to use their mana and attack? I mean, if I draw planes, maybe, and they don't have a removal spell, perhaps Agris can get some work done. Okay. Yeah, that explains it. Because then we just can't get a great attack in. Especially if they make a 2/4. Okay, so we drew the planes, so we're on the suspect the Phantom and try to kill it if they don't have a removal spell. We have an Auspicious Arrival as a trick for the Agris. If this is a bite down, I will concede. All right, I'm conceding. Fair enough. You've broken my spirit, MTGArena. You've broken my spirit. You give me all these Boros rares, and then you're just like, you know, it's like we're gonna give you these rares, but we're not gonna allow you to play Magic. That's my plan for today. Well played. Well played. All right. Ooh, this is a great hand, so I'm gonna keep. Double Market Watch, Phantom, Wojak Investigator, Galvanize on the draw. Okay. Ooh, Torch the Witness, so all the good cards. Case of the Shattered Pact. All right, they're going deep with lots of different colors. It's okay, we are just carving out. Face down creature here. Oh, nope, that's not a face down creature, that's a Krenko. That is in fact a Krenko. All right. Let's attack. I'm still playing the Wojak Investigator here. It's mostly a curve thing. I can still block the Krenko, but I also have Galvanize plus Market Watch Phantom as an option next turn. I mean, I guess I could have used Torch the Witness to kill it as well. But I do like just being able to go Galvanize Market Watch Phantom next turn. That seems pretty great. This attack, I mean, it was basically a free attack. See what they do. All right, this could be Nervous Gardener, perhaps. Let's play Market Watch Phantom. Attack with both. Okay. Kill Krenko. All right. Feeling good. They could have had Get a Leg Up. But so if I wanted to use the removal spell, I want to use it now so that at least Krenko isn't a 5/5. But they faced up the Nervous Gardener, so they got some goodies here. Next turn, probably. Okay. So they went and got a plains. So this could be anything. Jaded Analyst. Okay. Let's go ahead and play a face-down creature here to make our Market Watch Phantoms fly. This allows us to get in for 6 in the air. And then we have Torch to Witness, Felonious Rage. We can flip up the Night Watch. A lot of different good options here. Now, if they pass, that could signal that they have Riftburst Hellion, which would not be great. So kind of hoping that they use their mana in some way. Like, even if they attack with a face-down creature, it's really not that bad for me to just block with my face-down card and then flip it over, because that causes them to use a lot more mana, which kind of clears the way for me to be able to win with my flyers. Although the Market Watch Phantom doesn't necessarily fly next turn, because we don't have a creature in play, or we don't have a creature in our hand. I guess double Market Watch Phantom is also another reason to play the a face-down creature over something like the Griffnot Tracker, just to make sure you have more ways to trigger this. All right, so I'm going to flip this up just to use my mana. That's a really interesting draw. Let's play it. The thing is that this still doesn't beat Riftburst Hellion. But I think we're not really in a position to play, like, yes, I know they can have it, but I don't know that we're in a position to play around it, if that makes sense. I just think with the War Leader's Call, this just seems like a really great opportunity for us to try to attack and get some damage in. And we still have Felonious Rage if that face-down creature is just like an Undercover Crocodile for something along those lines. I'm happy with the Museum Nightwatch trade on the Jaded Analyst, if that's what they go with. And then the Felonious Rage we're hoping is something that gets us another token. Now, if they block my Market Watch Phantom with the face-down creature and flip over a big creature... Okay, well, we'll see. No, so it's not a Riftburst Hellion. We'll see what it actually is. Interesting. What is this face-down card? Let's see. Is it a Crowd Control Warden? That's a 6/6? I mean, I guess I'm going to go with the guaranteed kill here. I just don't know, like, is this an Exit Specialist, maybe? The thing is, they don't really want to go to 1 when I have a War Leader's Call in play. I mean, I could have targeted the face-down card. I don't know. Is this just a bounce spell, maybe? Okay, so it is the bounce spell. I'm going to go for Felonious Rage here. I don't know what this face-down card is. Flourishing Bloomkin. Sometimes you just got to go for it. And they used the spell there, so they had less mana to make it a big creature. And they have simply face-down card, and they're dead on board. All right. 1-1. We drew our Boros wares. We have double War Leader's Call, Wojek Investigator, and Agris. So we got some goodies. We got some goodies for sure. And that's going to have to make up for a lot of some of the filler cards that we're playing here. Okay. On the play, turn 2 Market Watch Phantom, turn 3 Wojek Investigator. Always a welcome sight. It's nice whenever we just draw our 2-drops in our openers, just because we don't necessarily have a ton of them, right? We have 4, so running above expectation there. All right, turn 3 Investigator. Now, if they have Makeshift Binding, that would be bad. We don't have certainly don't have a way to kill Binding. But if they don't, we are looking very nice. Oh, why did I should not have done that. You know what it was? The reason why I drew the card was I was thinking, well, maybe I draw a better 2-drop, but this increases the... Well, I mean, they have 7 cards. It's pretty unlikely. But by cracking the clue, it definitely does increase the chance that I won't be able to draw a card with the Investigator. So that's also something to consider. I could have just played Consultant past. But like I said, I mean, also they have a Nervous Gardener, so... We are looking very good here. Another clue generated from us. Oh, and Galvanize. Galvanize. So let's go face down card here. That's going to give Market Watch Phantom flying. I can attack with everything. If they double block my Seasoned Consultant, it's just a complete blowout. They might have to do it, though, because they're at 14 life. So this could be a forced block. And if they don't block, well, we still just have a really, really great... We're in a great spot. That was kind of a spot where they kind of had to block, and they're so behind, they're just kind of hoping, well, please just don't have it. If you have it, I'm in a ton of trouble. Next turn, we can go land number 6 as well with the Riftburst Hellion. So, yeah, this was an incredible hand. Like, a really, really great hand. Oh, but that's a Vannifar. Okay, so that definitely makes things interesting. They're going to cloak a card. Vannifar, one of the best cards in the set. Just... generate your own army, and it's just the tempo that you get from this is really, really difficult to beat. But I think with that blowout turn from the Galvanize previously, I think we are set up to be able to beat this. They have to block with Vannifar. So if they don't, they just basically lose. I can crack a clue. I can flip this up, but I do want to kill the Vannifar. I'm just wondering if I should crack the... I think I can crack the clue here. Okay, let's go ahead and use Chases On. All right, so we have 3 creatures in play. They're at 6 life. The Riftburst Hellion by itself is a lethal attack. And we still have 2 cards in hand, so it's going to be unlikely that they can unload their hand. So Investigator will be able to draw us another card. Yeah, this card's pretty good. Pretty good if you're aggro. I mean, pretty good in any deck, really, but... Vitu-Ghazi Inspector from the opponent. Do they have a Bite Down on Crime as well? Alright, that put them up to 8 life, which is pretty good. Ooh, Auspicious Arrival. I mean, we are drawing, like, just complete champs here. I mean, this face down card, what are you going to do? Right? Is it just going to get eaten by my face down card? Okay, you're just taking the, like, hoping you don't lose approach. Yeah, that's fair. But, yeah. I mean, they played something every single turn for the most part. It's just we had kind of an overwhelming hand there with just a great curve with combat tricks, and they were behind enough where they just had to kind of block and hope, and not the best place to be necessarily against a Boros deck. We are going first. Well, no 2-drop this time. Our luck has run out, but hopefully it's okay. We at least got to go first, and we get to go turn 3 War Leader's Call. The big thing is just us not... What just happened? Oh my gosh, they just went turn 1 Crashing Footfalls. Why did they print this card? just... okay. All right, they put a couple... Oh, they are turbo filling up their graveyard. They're cooking with something. I just don't know that we're going to be able to beat this. I mean, turn 1 Crashing Footfalls is just kind of ridiculous. I don't know that we're going to be able to beat that. And couldn't find land number 4 either. Oh, yep. Not surprised that this is a chalk outline deck. Well. All right, here comes chalk outline. Would like to really draw a land. This could be a crocodile. I think I have to... Oh, it's a crowd control. Yeah, this is... I mean... Yeah. I mean, what am I even supposed to do here? I drew the double call, but couldn't find land number 4 for the person of interest, and they just had kind of an overwhelming start. Can't use the chases on. Galvanize doesn't kill anything. I think it's just playing this as a face-down creature. Wait, aren't we just dead? If they just attack with everything? Yeah, we're super dead. Oh well. Okay. Hey, sometimes you get crashing. Wait, let me just make sure I'm playing 17 lands here. Sometimes like I misclick and I just anyways, that was just turn 1 Crashing Footfalls. Like I don't know what the win rate of Crashing Footfalls Crashing Footfalls is in your opener, but it's got to be like pretty ridiculous. Let me actually look. Because obviously if you draw it late, it's not as good. So Crashing Footfalls in your opener. Okay, there's not enough sample size for among the top players. So let's just change it to all users. Opening hand win rate, 73.5%. 73.5% opening hand win rate. This is for all users on 17 lands. All right. That's probably number 1. That is probably... I can't imagine why that wouldn't be number 1. All right, well, we're keeping this hand. It's a 2-lander on the draw. It's got Galvanize, War Leader's Call, a couple of face-down creatures, and Auspicious Arrival. Some mana would be okay. We do have the Galvanize here that we can play on turn 2. So hopefully that has a target early so that we don't just get run over. Our opponent did play Plains. Usually white decks are... Good shot that they're gonna have a 2-drop here. Wow, they didn't have one. You know, this is actually unfortunate the way that this lines up, though, because now if they play a face-down creature, my Galvanize doesn't actually work. Oh, they're blue, red, white. Yeah, so... Oh, wow. That's actually lucky. That's like one of the few 3s that they could have played from that spot. Like with white and red mana, I was like, all right, well, I guess my Galvanize doesn't do anything. So this is highly, highly fortunate, I just want to say. Okay, and now, what do? We have a couple of options here. We can play the Investigator or the War Leader's Call. I think I want to just get the big creature in play right now. It does 1 less damage. But I just don't want to kind of... This will get in for 2 damage, right? And I can still play the War Leader's Call next turn here. If that's something I'm interested in. Or I can play Person of Interest. I think I actually get in for more damage, and it's a better use of my mana, because if I draw land number 5, I can play War Leader's Call plus Suspicious Arrival. So I'd rather play the Person of Interest now, and then use the War Leader's Call as kind of a surprise way of pushing through more damage here, potentially with the Detected that I have in play. And, oh, Aurelia, okay. Land would be amazing. Okay, land is amazing. Oh, this triggers off of both? I actually did not know that. Why does it trigger off of any player? Commander? Wow, okay. Not a detective, right? Just an angel? All right, let's kill Aurelia. Aurelia down. They got a card, though, which I mean, I don't know how I would have attacked. Maybe I don't attack with another creature, but they have to play 2 cards this turn, or else I still get to draw a card off my Investigator. I think with War Leader's Call, I still want to just put maximum pressure, so I think I still am supposed to let them draw a card, but it's kind of close. I simply just did not. I guess I've never really attacked with 3 creatures into an opposing Aurelia, but I thought this was just for yourself. Wow, they passed? What does that mean? And they're letting me attack? What does that mean? I have no idea. I mean, they discarded and not on my watch. Did they have another one of those? Something feels extremely fishy here. Now the question is, do I draw a card here? The thing is, they even let me draw a card off the Investigator. I'll just wait. I'll just wait, I guess. That was so bizarre. Now, if they don't do something next turn, I will attack. But given that they discarded not on my watch and just passed with 6 mana up, it just felt so weird. Okay, so they had an Auspicious Arrival. Was their hand just all combat tricks, maybe? That doesn't work. Oh, no. I'm sorry, opponent. Should have done it main phase. Oh, yep. It's a tricky line of text. The Galvanize and Loxodon Eavesdropper, it counts the second card you draw. So either you want to use it on your main phase or draw 2 cards on your opponent's turn to be able to actually get the bonus ability. So in their mind, and so that makes a lot of sense why they kept up 6 mana. In their mind, I attack with both. They block my 3/3 with the Private Eye. They pump their Private Eye, crack the clue, use Galvanize to kill my Investigator, right? So assuming that worked, that is an okay setup, I suppose. But because it didn't work, I should have attacked with my Angel. Okay, we are 3-2. A little sad we have 2 losses already. This deck has a ton of bombs, but we've had some pretty awkward draws. This is also another one of them, but I think on the draw, I still can't really mulligan this. We do have War Leader's Call plus Person of Interest. We just need to draw a white source, and the fact that we still have a turn 2 play in the Galvanize makes me feel like I should keep this hand. Might have to use the Galvanize here. Oh, and we drew a face down card. Face down card. Yeah, and this is simply just like a tempo play. Like, just don't want to fall behind. Gonna play the Galvanize. That Sanitation Automaton with the complexion of her hand was just gonna do so much damage. So this whatever this face down card is can't be too scary. So I believe I'm going to block. And yeah, so they're slicing from the shadows there. So now, I mean, we're getting close to the point where it's like, okay, deck. It's time that you give us a white source, right? It's time. Like, we kept this because our hand had enough cards where if we draw a mountain, we're still okay. But now it's getting to the, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Give us a plane so we can play some Magic. Please and thank you. Right here, right now. You know, sometimes the shuffler has it out for you. Okay, look, I'm... Oh. I feel like this is just a way of Arena bringing balance to everything, right? We drew extremely well on our path to winning $2,000 this past weekend, right? We drew really well. We had opponents who were stuck on lands. And now it's time. Now it's our turn, basically, is what's going on here. I mean, they're representing murder mana, so it's just I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm supposed to go for it there. I mean, maybe I am just because I'm not drawing planes. So this is just kind of ridiculous, but just give me a planes. Is it too late now? I don't know. Okay, that's all right. Let's just put this all over here. Just put it all in this corner. There you go. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we knew they had the murder. We knew they had the murder, but I can't play Magic otherwise, right? So they could have attacked me with this for a 2-turn clock. I suppose they can give this a +1/+1 counter and still get us. And now, yeah, now it's just too late. So now it is just too late. I mean, we can attack with Person of Interest because it has Menace. But this Repeat Offender will just get us. So I need to basically play Market Watch Phantom and just keep stuff back. The way I look at it, okay? The way I look at it is not all of these videos can be hits. This was definitely an interesting draft. Definitely an interesting draft, but I think a lot of the loss here can just be attributed to, I mean, mostly it was just mana issues. So, and this is really disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. This is really disappointing. I mean, we hit Mythic, or we were Mythic, we deranked, but we had a deck with, we just opened 3 busted Boros rares, right? We had a double War Leader's Call with Agris, you know, some decent removal, and a bunch, you know, with the Wojek Investigator as well. So for a deck with these premium rares on the right side, this is definitely a very disappointing result. But like I said before, that's something that happens in Magic. And you just kind of roll with it, and you just move on, and you draft again. You draft again, and guess what I'm going to do right after this? I'm going to draft again, record another video, and hopefully that one goes a little bit better than this one. I thought this deck was fine. I think you can maybe make some arguments for mulliganing there. I'm going to have to ask Frank Karsten to run some numbers here, but for example, that hand, our hand was 3 Mountains, Galvanized, Person of Interest on the draw. So we have lots and lots of opportunities to draw just a single planes, right? And we have 9 white sources in our deck. You know, in 3 draws even, right? In 3 draws even, we have over a 50% shot to find a white source, if not more. If we, you know, turn 4, we can find, you know, and we couldn't find one until turn 7. And that's just something that happens with the game. And so you just have to be okay with that fact while playing this game and kind of move on from there. But if I could do one thing differently, I mean, there were a couple of things I could have probably done differently in this draft, okay? Number 1 was that second pick. I think probably Granite Witness is the correct pick. And even in that point, I was like, okay, Granite Witness is probably the correct pick because it's still good in blue-white, but it gives you that flexibility because Granite Witness allows me to, I could play the Granite Witness in this deck and it would have been a fine card in this deck, right? But I don't think that would have changed the outcome of some of these games. The other one was, I believe, we took a mutation, or maybe there were some instances where we could have taken some 2-drops. I would have been a lot happier if I was just able to pick up another Innocent Bystander or a Sanitation Automaton here over something like kind of a more expensive card. I think those are the small changes I would have made. But outside of that, you know, like, we were pretty clearly not supposed to be in red-white necessarily, but sometimes, in rare instances like this one, where you open War Leader's Call, Agris into War Leader's Call, you still just got to do it. You still just got to do it. Even if you're fighting somebody and your deck isn't perfect, you have enough ridiculous rares in your deck that will increase your win percentage significantly collectively, where it's still probably worth it to go into red-white. But didn't pan out here. It's okay. There are more videos to come. So thank you so much for watching. If you wanted to support this channel in other ways, I did launch a Patreon channel. The link is in the description below. Shout out to all the current patrons. Really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like or subscribe button for more daily videos just like this. I'll catch you tomorrow.